continuing to lead, and just Jose having little looks everywhere, still not able to get around him. What an unbelievable defensive masterclass this is from Unorthodox. Pit window, we reckon, is open, so the game reckons that these guys need to make one more pit stop for a fresh set of inters. As we see just Jose having a little to the inside. Dan tries to close the door, squeezes up against the pit wall. It goes late on the brakes, just Dan. Somehow he's going to hold on to that position. Wow, unbelievable racing that was from Unorthodox. Just Jose had the inside line. Dan went so late on the brakes and managed to hold it around the outside, and just Jose wasn't able to cling onto the position. That is incredible racing there from Unorthodox. Really got his elbows massively there in that little battle. But just Jose still not able to get ahead of Dan. But is he going to be able to do it now? He's going to have the outside. Dan's going to try and throw one back up the inside. Is he is? Oh, look at that. He's gone deep into the corner though. I think just Jose's got to have that move done. He has. Just Jose swoops round into the lead of the Russian Grand Prix here at Motive Racing. Dan can fight it no more. He's put up a valiant effort. So out of the way we go here. We come up towards turn one. Looks like Djphil-green managed to hold on to pole position. Looks like a couple of drivers have dropped back a little bit though. Horatio's up into second place, and Nemvedic third. He's facing heavy pressure from A. Thompson as they come up towards turn two. Is A. Thompson going to be able to try and go around the outside of Nemvedic? Sorry, he can't do it. Mr. Basil looking like he's gone. Oh, he's gone wide there. Mr. Basil has dropped down to the back of the pack and looks like he's been caught up with somebody else there. Mr. Basil in the wars. ClarkyBoy's dropped back down towards the rear of the field. Crest and Anime and Djphil-green at the back, but Game4Life leads over Horatio on the first lap. A. Thompson, Sergey Zeynalov has gone up into fourth place here. Decent first lap here from Sergey. You've got Nemvedic there dropping behind Joram as Joram's trying to go side by side with him. Joram in the end managing to get that position up ahead of Nemvedic, and Killer Clark's coming through as well. So Killer Clark up into sixth place ahead of Nemvedic. Nemvedic getting absolutely swamped here on this first lap, but it's Game4Life leading the race ahead of Horatio. He would have put out a 1 second gap at the front, so Game4Life really on it in this first lap here, trying to build as much of a gap as he can in the early stages of this race. Horatio though is not going to let him off the hook that easily. A. Thompson's trying to make quick progress here as we see Game4Life going very wide there, coming through the penultimate corner. But it's Game4Life, Horatio, A. Thompson the top three, Sergey, Joram, there's Killer Clark in sixth, Nemvedic, Bennett, Rednass and Matty Pitt rounding out the top 10 at the moment. Then there's Karts, Raki, there's Djphil in 13th, Mr. Basil, ClarkyBoy into 15th, Djphil-green, Crescent Anime and Polish My Balls having an absolute horror show of a first lap. Looks like he's got damage, as has Crescent Anime. Those two both in the pits as Djphil-green now is looking to make a move on ClarkyBoy for P15 into turn one. Is he going to be able to do this on the brakes? He's looking to get that done if he can, but doesn't look like he's quite able to, as ClarkyBoy trying to hold it around the outside but can't do it, and I think that that's in fact. But yeah, currently it's Game4Life out the front. Second and a half is his gap at the moment over Horatio. A second back to A. Thompson running in third. There's Sergey and Joram running 2/10 apart. Joram looking to try and put the pressure on Sergey early on here. Sergey's taken P2 in each of the last 3 races here at Motive, so he's a man on form, but he'll be looking to try and go one better here this time out and make that P2 into a P1. But he's got Joram hot on his rear at the moment. Game4Life, the championship leader, is pulling out a gap at the front here. 3 seconds he's already got to the rest of these guys who are battling over second place. Horatio's got a train of cars behind him. A. Thompson, Sergey, Joram and Killer Clark very close behind him at the moment. There's Rednass with Matty Pitt trying to close the gap to him a little bit. Nemvedic running in 9th place, Raki in 10th. There's Karts, Mr. Basil, Djphil, ClarkyBoy's managed to get ahead of Djphil-green, and he's now getting ahead of Karts as well. So Karts has dropped back there. Don't know what happened to Karts. He's had a bit of a horror show there. He's down to P15 in this race. Bennett, LCFC, big man in the Wednesday and Sunday League Championship leader over there, currently running in 16th at the moment. Not the race for him as Karts has spun it coming out of the penultimate corner. Oh, Karts is round. That's not gone to plan at all there for Karts. He's had an absolute mare coming out of the penultimate corner, and he's down to P16. And oh, Polish My Balls has lost it, and Crescent Anime's lost it as well. Crescent Anime without a front wing. Oh no, Polish My Balls and Crescent Anime having a nightmare there. Those two now in. It's gone from bad to worse for both of them. Is that going to be a safety car? Hopefully not. Hopefully we can continue as we are, but Game for Life leads by 4.5 seconds, continuing to pull away from the rest of these guys who are battling over those podium spots. Horatio, A. Thompson, Sergey still got Joram all over the back of him. Killer Clark on the back of these four guys who are fighting it out over second spot here at the moment, and they're just losing time lap after lap to the race leader Game for Life at this point. 2.5 seconds back to Rednas running all by himself in P7. There's Matty Pitt, then Vidic, Raki completing the top 10 at the moment. Mr. Basil there in 7th place. Looks like Joram's got ahead of Sergey up into 4th place. Is he going to be able to hold it around the outside? Coming in towards the penultimate corner, Sergey's still there, hugging that curb on the inside line, but Joram's going to try and go around the long way here in towards the final corner. They bang wheels a little bit, and Joram does complete that move up into 4th place. Beautifully done there from Joram to gain a position. Horatio's still got A. Thompson very hot in his rearview mirrors now. Hungary, notoriously difficult to overtake, but it looks like A. Thompson's going for it into turn 1. Joram's also got Sergey trying to come back at him into turn 1 as well, but A. Thompson's managed to complete that move on Horatio. Has he got it as the camera pans towards turn 2? Yes, he has. A. Thompson is up into P2, and he's got a back marker there just in front of him. That would appear to be Crescent Anime there just in front of the leaders, but the gap that Game for Life's got out the front over A. Thompson now 6.5 seconds, so he's really made the most of having Horatio there, just keeping these guys behind him for these last few laps. A. Thompson now into 2nd, and Horatio's got his mirrors full of Joram and Sergey very shortly. Also Killer Clark pretty close behind them as well. Rednas closing in on these 4 or these 5 battling over 2nd place. Look at this, Joram. Rednas is really getting the pace down at the moment. Matty Pitt there running in 8th place, then Vidic. Raki starting to close up onto the back of this mid-pack battle here. He's currently sat in that final points paying position at the moment. Then Mr. Basil sat in 11th place. He's 2 seconds behind Raki at the moment. Jffa there in 12th place. DJ Phil a little bit way off of them in P13. He's got Clarky Boy hunting him down right now. Kart's running in 15th with Bennett LCFC, Polish My Balls and Crescent Anime still rounding out the pack at the moment as Joram's got ahead of Horatio up into 3rd place. Coming through the penultimate corner, beautifully done there from the Red Bull driver, trying to chase down Game 5 in the championship first. He's got to chase him down on the track tonight though. As we see, Polish My Balls is into the pits for a pit stop very early on here in this race, 4 laps in, so it looks like that's probably a impromptu one, maybe for damage, I'm not sure. As we see, Sergey's battling out with Killer Clark on the exit of turn 1. Looks like Killer Clark had the move done coming into turn 1, but Sergey's fighting back, and it's going to have the inside for turn 2 and holds on to that one. But these two are on the back of Horatio. They're trying to make gains in any way that they possibly can. Oh no, don't tell me my stream's frozen, please, for God's sake. It can't get any worse today, can it? Oh my god, sorry about that. I just saw my stream freeze for a second, but it's alright. But at the moment, Game for Life leads by nearly 6 seconds over A. Thompson. Joram still sat just around a second off of the back of A. Thompson at the moment, still keeping him on his toes for the time being. Sergey is really trying to get it onto Horatio at the moment, but Killer Clark's being dragged along with him, and they've actually lost a little bit of time to Horatio coming through this middle sector on this lap so far. As we see, we've got Jffa making the move on Mr. Basil up into 11th place, and what's happened to Mr. Basil? He's dropped back a little bit there as Mr. Basil. He's now fallen way off the back of Jffa, and Jffa now in some clean air can try and chase down the top 10 positions here. Clarky Boy's got ahead of DJ Phil, and DJ Phil spun it coming out on the exit of turn 5. So Clarky Boy up into P13, continuing his comeback drive in this one. DJ Phil has now got Karts close onto the back of him here in the battle for P14. At the moment, Game for Life still leads. A. Thompson's kind of keeping the gap to him since getting into some clean air, and now Joram is hassling the back of A. Thompson. Both of these having made the move on Horatio. Sergey's got Killer Clark looking to his outside coming into turn 1. Is he going to be able to drive clean around the outside here? That is the question. Doesn't look like... Oh yes, he is. He's going to have the inside here for turn 2. Sergey's still there though, still going wheel to wheel, but Killer Clark manages to get that move done up into 5th place. Beautifully done there from Killer Clark, gaining that position. Raki's on the back of Vidic now. These two fighting it out over 9th place. Also Karts has got ahead of DJ Phil as DJ Phil comes into the pits. We see there Clarky Boy's got ahead of Mr. Basil. That's because Mr. Basil's come into the pits, so position changes left, right and centre right now. Horatio still ahead of Killer Clark and Sergey by the skin of his teeth, but Sergey now having been passed by Killer Clark's looking to try and get back onto him as soon as he can. These two losing time to the man in P4 currently as it stands in this race. Raki there on the back of Vidic. These two battling out over 9th place. They're pretty much nose to tail at the moment, but Raki still can't get around Vidic for the time being. He's still hassling and hounding him, looking for any way he can to get around him. Looking to the inside, here we go. Raki gets himself up into 9th place there. Vidic powerless to defend, and that's beautifully done there from Joram's teammate and father there, Raki, getting through up into 9th place. As we see there, Horatio is in the pits, as is Sergey Zeynalov. Those two both pulling the trigger, so that's allowed Killer Clark some clean air now. He's now ahead of Horatio, who was behind for a few laps there. Rednass there sat in 5th. He's got Matty Pitt pretty close behind him, only just under a second between these two right now. RaKi's got 4/10 back to Nemvidic still. Well, he's got ahead of him, so he's obviously he's got that clean air in front of him. He can now try and chase down Matty Pitt if he can. We just saw him make that move a few corners ago. Djphil-green out in 9th place. Horatio there. Oh, as we lost the driver, PolishMyBalls is out of the race. Oh, what a shame there. I think this is the track where PolishMyBalls actually took a win in the XL League. So yeah, I don't know. Bit of a shame there for him. But yeah, right now we've got Horatio and Sergey came out a second apart. Horatio actually kept track position over Sergey, which Sergey's not going to be happy with because he was kind of being held up by Horatio before the pit window, so he's still behind him at the moment. A. Thompson still trying to hound the back of Joram. Joram's got ahead of A. Thompson up into 2nd place, so Joram now in some clean air. That big question now, has he got the pace to chase down Game for Life? We know that Game for Life started on the soft tyres, Joram on the mediums. Joram can go long into this stint, barring any safety cars. He's got an ace up his sleeve in the strategy and can really take this fight to Game for Life over the course of this race. Game for Life though looks like he's been a while in that pit box. Look at that, that's a bit of a long pit stop there. The McLaren boys really didn't do him justice there, as we see Killer Clark there up into 3rd. Matty Pitt's going to come around to pick up 4th place there ahead of Game for Life. Game for Life is going to probably drop down to behind RaKi and Nemvidic, I would imagine. There is the McLaren just exiting the pits even, and Nemvidic is going to try and go around the outside here of Game for Life, but Game for Life's going to hold that one off, so he slots in between RaKi and Nemvidic for the time being there. So Game for Life question is now he's got RaKi in front of him. Is RaKi, Joram's teammate, going to try and hold him up a little bit and keep him at bay to buy his son and teammate a little bit of time here out the front? This could be a real strategic wild card here from the Red Bull guys. If RaKi does hold my Game for Life up, that could really benefit Joram out front. Joram has got A. Thompson still hounding and hassling him. These two have been fighting out for 2nd. What could be a net lead with them two both starting on the medium tyres, as opposed to Game for Life, who's just made his pit stop to put a fresh set of mediums on. Obviously he started on the soft and set his pole up on the soft, but at the moment this race is wide open between these three and could possibly still involve Sergey at this point as well, although Sergey is a little way off of them, so he'll probably need a safety car to get involved in the battle for the podium spots. Game for Life has found his way ahead of RaKi up into 5th, so RaKi not really getting in the way of Game for Life too much, and Joram's still got it all to do out the front. He's just napping some back markers there as he ghosts through them. But I think that's Djphil and Clarky Boy battling out over P15 at the moment in this race. Joram though still out in front by 6/10 of a second ahead of A. Thompson at the moment. These guys giving it absolutely everything, trying the best to jump Game for Life in the pits if they can. Gap back to Game for Life between Joram and A. Thompson, and then Game for Life is 15 seconds. So it looks like he's making inroads on those fresh tyres, but what's it going to come to by the end of this race? We just see Sergey there getting ahead of Horatio up into P6. That was crucial for Sergey. He's obviously made his pit stop. Killer Clark and RaKi both have not, so we are expecting Sergey will come out ahead of, he should come out ahead of RaKi, but whether or not he's going to come out of Killer Clark is another matter. So I think Sergey's going to be 4th or 5th in this race as it stands, barring any safety cars. The real battle is at the front. Joram, Game for Life, obviously A. Thompson as well. Those three I reckon are going to be the ones to fight out this race, as Joram started to gap A. Thompson a little bit over the course of the last couple of laps, but A. Thompson still in contention. He's not going to let him just drive off into the distance, you can be sure of that. But anything can happen here, can't it, really? Drive off into the distance, you can be sure of that. But checking my audio there, Horatio's still in the back of Sergey, only half a second between these two. He's still very much giving him something to worry about here. Clarky Boy has got Djphil very close behind him as they're coming down towards turn 2, but Djphil a little bit too far back to get anything done coming in towards that corner, and thinks better of throwing a little lunge up the inside. As it would appear that Killer Clark's coming into the pits, so that's promoted Sergey up into 5th. Horatio's still on his tail. These two fighting it out over 5th. But these two are both closing in on RaKi, who's still yet to pit. And also just want to note is that obviously Sergey getting ahead of Killer Clark in the pits. So oh no, Killer Clark's made a mistake coming out of the exit of turn 1. What's happened there? Oh no. Oh, that is unfortunate there for Killer Clark. He's had an absolute horror show coming there through the first corner. Got a bit of a spin on, and that's going to have lost him time, and possibly that could have put paid to his chances of finishing in the top 5 here tonight. He was driving well before that. Rednass is just coming out on the exit of the pits now, so he's onto the paddle here out of the pits there. But Rednass has picked up a 5-second penalty for track limits, it would appear. Track limits back to their usual regular for this week. They were on strict last week. It caused a bit of controversy, to say the least. But we're back on the regular track limits for this time out. Hopefully everybody's aware of that, so they're all abusing the track limits to the same extent and nobody's gaining an advantage. But Joram in the pits, so he's making his pit stop here at the end of lap 10. And A. Thompson now inherits the lead of the race, but that will all change once he comes in. Game for Life looking like he will probably jump him, or not jump him, but retain position once he comes out. Joram a long time in the pits here. Look at that. He's had to undergo some heavy repairs there by the looks of it. He's come out miles behind Game for Life. So what? That's oh no, Joram. Well, look at that. He's down in 8th place. That could not have gone much worse there for Joram, if I'm honest with you. He's put the hard tyres on, so he can. He could probably go to the end from here if he's very, very kind to those hard tyres. They will be absolutely on a knife's edge by the end of the race, though. We know that for sure. But if he can keep those going to the end, he can do one less pit stop than the guys in front of him. He's got, what has he got? He's got 12 seconds to Sergey and Horatio. But he's about 35 seconds behind the race leader Game for Life, so even a pit stop wouldn't help him out there. Oh, as we see, somebody's lost it there out in the final corner, and DJ Phil's retired from the race. He has called it a day here, as we see there. That's Bennett LCFC having a horror show coming through the final corner. Definitely not the same driver on a Friday that he is on Wednesday and Sunday over in the XLF1 League for sure. But we see currently A. Thompson out the front by 12 seconds. Game for Life is closing that gap and looks like he's going to bring himself into the contention for that one. RaKi's in the pits. Sergey and Horatio still battling out over the final podium spot. Sergey somehow finds himself in a podium spot despite being well off of it earlier on due to Killer Clark and Joel having those absolute nightmares over the pit stops. But we see Sergey and Horatio side by side coming into turn 2, and Horatio moves up the inside there, gets it back on Sergey up into P3. They goes a little bit wide coming out the exit of turn 2, but he's got it out for turn 3 up the Snook straight towards turn 4 now. Can Sergey try and come back in him into the brakes? He's looking to the inside here, thinks better of that one. He's not going to get it done into that corner. But A. Thompson currently lead the race by 12 seconds over Game for Life. Horatio and Sergey are going to continue this fight all the way to the flag, I feel. As we are noticing, Joram is pulling up onto the back of RaKi, and RaKi lets him through. So team orders there for the Red Bull guys. RaKi knows the fight is not with his teammate. He lets him go, says, go on, off you go, mate. See what you can do. See what you can get done with these guys up the front. Joram could still be on for a podium here in this one. It's definitely don't count it out at this point. He's only 15 seconds off of Horatio and Sergey, and over 23 laps. I mean, especially considering he hasn't got to do another pit stop, this could play into his hands over the course of this race. We'll have to keep an eye on this and see how it develops, but he's definitely not out of this one, I would say that for sure, especially if we have a safety car or something, but no signs of that so far. A. Thompson though still out the front. 13 seconds is his gap over Game for Life at the moment. A further 17 seconds back to Horatio, who's about 30 seconds off for the leader A. Thompson. He's got Sergey really hunting him down here as they're coming out of the first corner. Looks like Sergey's getting a bit of closing speed up towards turn 2. Not close enough right now, just tucks in behind, still waiting in the wings, waiting for his opportunity to go for it if he possibly can. But Sergey Zeynalov looking like he's on the warpath here in this battle for the final podium spot. Can he keep it? Can he keep sticking it to him here in this one? I'm just seeing some comments here. Apparently I sound like I'm on an airplane. I don't know. Let me just turn the stream on. I'm just seeing some comments here. Apparently I sound like I'm... Oh yeah, I can hear a fan in the background, to be fair. No, I do apologise for that. Yeah, but basically what's happened is, for some reason my game isn't really playing the sound very loudly. It only plays on through the headphones, but I don't know what's going on there. Hopefully that'll be sorted out for the next one. Also, I'm usually on remote play for the streams, but tonight I'm doing it through a private PlayStation stream. Sergey's lost it! A rare mistake there from Sergey Zeynalov. Oh my goodness! That is something you do not often see. He's one of the most consistent drivers in the league by a long shot, but oh my goodness. He's going to be frustrated with that. I know that for certain. That is, oh, what a shame. What a shame. He's going to drop down the field like a stone. And he's lost out there. So Joram up into 6th. Kayla Clark has got himself into 5th place. Matty Pitt, maybe, he's been quiet in this race, Matty Pitt. But I wouldn't count him out of a podium at this point, because he's on hard tyres and he can definitely go to the end on those. I don't know, his fight's probably with Horatio. He's 4 seconds ahead of Killer Clark and Joram at this point, so I don't know, but yeah, that's a disaster for Sergey anyway. He's dropping way down the order. Presumably we'll put a set of hards on now and try and go all the way to the end of this race, but that's not gone to plan at all, as we have lost Crescent Anime from the race. We're down to 15 runners here for the Hungarian Grand Prix for the Friday F1 League here at Motive Racing. I had no idea there were comments coming in, because I've got the comments on the screen. They've obviously reset themselves. Oh god, they've obviously reset themselves since obviously, you know, what happened earlier on with the stream. So I haven't actually been coming up on my OBS screen, so apologies for that, but I'm going to just reset those so I can actually see what people are saying on the chat. But yeah, bit of a hectic race so far. Apologies to anybody watching if I sound like I'm in a wind tunnel or an airplane or something like that. Got some comments coming in. Ian Mitchell saying yes, pandas, Clarky Boy 321 is pony. Well, Clarky Boy is currently in P13 at the moment, but to be fair, Ian, I know who you are, by the way, mate, obviously, but we obviously saw Clarky Boy last week, did a really good performance. He finished in P10 last week. He was actually qualifying in P7 last time out, so he did a really good job last week. This week hasn't really gone to plan. I think, I mean, he rang me up just before the race saying that he'd forgotten that we were even racing tonight, about 15 minutes before the race, so to be honest, he sort of jumped on last minute. You can't really fault him for that. At the end of the day, he's still come and put on a show, so you know, at the end of the day, it's you've got to respect that. But yeah, he put in a hell of a performance last week, did Clarky Boy on his debut. This time out hasn't gone quite as well, but nevertheless, I'm sure that he will be back fighting next week. Obviously we go to Belgium for Spa-Francorchamps for the Belgian Grand Prix here at Motive, so that should hopefully be a good one. But last season, saying that, we saw about half the field crash out, so don't know how that one's going to pan out. But A. Thompson currently out the front, 10 seconds is gap over Game for Life at the moment, and looks like he's just pulling that out. But Game for Life obviously has already been into the pits. A. Thompson has not. A. Thompson's gone a long way into this stint on those medium tyres, so he is really getting the best out of them at the moment. Joram is closing up onto the back of Matty Pitt. He won't want to get held up too long, because he's really, Joram wants to be fighting for the podiums here. He obviously had the very long pit stop earlier on, which has kind of shot him in the foot a little bit. So yeah, we'll have to keep our eyes on how Joram can make his way back through the field at the moment, but just kind of entering a little bit of a dry spot in the race at the moment, as we see Karts has got ahead of Rednas, as I say that. So Karts has made the move up into 11th place. I don't know if Rednas made a mistake. I thought the gap was pretty substantial before that. Joram's close on Matty Pitt into turn 1. Has he got that done? He has, up into 4th place. Beautifully done there from the Red Bull driver there, and he can now try and chase down Horatio in that final podium spot. The podium spot could be the summit of Joram's ambitions here in this race, as it's not really been the best for him. It could just be about minimising the points lost to Game for Life, and who knows, maybe if A. Thompson can get the best out of his car, he may possibly be able to give Game for Life a bit of a battle in this race, but saying that though, I mean A. Thompson's got to use both sets of tyres, so unless he goes a really long way on these mediums and then puts the softs on, it's going to be difficult for sure. But anyway, if anybody can make those last up to about lap 23 or so, then I suppose it's A. Thompson's got to be your guy. But yeah, kind of just settling down a bit this race, not really a whole lot going on. Looks like RaKiMaJe's only a couple of seconds off of Rednas. Rednas is closing up onto the back of Karts in a bit. Oh no, but Karts is pulling away from him, in fact, since getting the move on him a few corners ago. But RaKiMaJe definitely bringing that gap down to Rednas at the moment. And we can see A. Thompson's gap to Game for Life now under 10 seconds. Game for Life obviously will jump A. Thompson once A. Thompson comes in and makes his pit stop. We're not sure when he's going to make it, but he's going to make it soon enough. Rednas though is closed up onto the back of Karts a little bit once again. Less than a second between these two. RaKiMaJe will be putting up on the scene pretty shortly as well, as we see Karts a little bit wide there. But at the moment, Karts is doing what he has to do ahead of Rednas for the time being. Rednas does have a penalty for track limits, so he's picked up a time penalty at some point throughout this race for just pushing the limits a little bit too much. We've got Rednas here closing very much onto the back of Karts. He will have DRS down the start finish straight, so I suppose the question is, can he get the best possible exit out of this final corner, use that DRS, use that slipstream to full effect, and try and get his way through up into 11th place. Here we go, down the start finish straight, 4 tenths between these two. It's coming down. Rednas has got the run. Is he going to make a move coming into turn 1? He's going to put out the slipstream here. He goes for the dive down the inside, and he's got that done, but no, he's going deep into the corner, and that's giving Karts the position once again. Karts manages to retain 11th place there, and RaKiMaJe continuing to reel these guys in. He can see these two are battling in front of him. He knows that he'll get his opportunity if he just keeps pushing and keeps believing here. Rednas is going to have another chance to get Karts done here. DRS up the hill. Do they get DRS up here? No, they don't apparently, but Karts unable to do anything there. Sorry, Rednas unable to get anything done there with Karts. RaKiMaJe still waiting in the wings. He's now within DRS range, RaKiMaJe though, so when we get to the start finish straight this time around, RaKiMaJe will definitely be in striking distance on these guys. Whilst we're here on the channel, guys, I just want to say a big thank you to everybody watching the stream. If you like what you see, please sure to drop a like on the videos. We've lost Mr. Basil. Oh, Mr. Basil's out of the race. He's left the session. I don't know what's happened there, to be fair. I didn't see him crash or anything, but he's out of the race anyway. But yeah, it's if you like the action, guys, then drop a like on the video, subscribe to the Motive Racing channel. If you're watching us for the first time and you enjoy what we have on offer here, then don't be afraid to hit that subscribe button. Join us at www.motiveracing.com. Join the Discord server. That is where you can become a part of the action. For God's sake, why? I'm not even pressing anything, for God's sake. Yeah. As we see there, Karts getting up into 12th place ahead of Rednas, making a position. Nicely done there from Karts. Now that I've just done that thing where the thing went off centre, it's actually ruined my evening completely. That moment there has just ruined my evening. But anyway, got to get on with it. So Rednas there, we're in 4 tenths of Karts at the moment. RaKiMaJe doing a great job getting up into 11th place. We saw him just pulling that double overtake there, and RaKiMaJe's driven really well in this one, to be fair. He's fought back from what's been not the easiest of starts. He obviously said to me earlier on, about 15 minutes before the race started, he hadn't had a chance to really get on and practice. He'd forgotten that we were racing tonight, so he's kind of just had to get into a flow a bit, but he's been improving every single lap, and he's now getting it down. And as he puts oh no, is he trying to unlap himself here? Look at that. Go on. Is that the he's just unlapped himself on the man in P2. Oh my goodness, fair play to RaKiMaJe there. As Game for Life, that is Game for Life. Oh no, Game for Life has lost his front wing. Oh my goodness, this man was possibly the net race leader, with A. Thompson having done a long stint on those medium tyres. A. Thompson now in the box seat here for the race win tonight. Game in the pits, and oh my god, that has gone horribly wrong there for Game for Life. RaKiMaJe moves up into second. Gelram is now ahead of Game for Life. Oh Oh, you couldn't write it. That has gone disastrously there for Game for Life after possibly being in the net lead of the race. He is now almost 50 seconds off of the leader, Ray Thompson. He comes out behind Killer Clark, and that could not have gone any worse there for Game for Life. Oh, you've got to feel for him there, you really have. As we see Killer Clark's lost it coming out of turn 1. Oh, he's had a spin there on the exit of the corner, and he's dropped down to P6. That's giving Game for Life that 5th place back there, but Game for Life's going to face an uphill battle in this one. Killer Clark making a small mistake there coming out of turn 1, following suit to the disasters of Game for Life and giving him back that position. Joanne closing the gap to Horatio, now 3 seconds between those two in the battle for 2nd place, but A. Thompson looks like he's got this one signed and sealed. He can just walk the rest of this one and he'll have this win in the bag. See here, Rednass closing up onto the back of RaKiMaJe since RaKiMaJe made the move on him and Karts in pretty much the same part of the track. Now it looks like Rednass is trying to fight back here, as we see there just over a second between these guys at the moment. Rednass looking to put the pressure on if he can, as we see Killer Clark there into the pits to make a pit stop. Don't know if he had damage from that little knock with the wall coming out of turn 1, but that's promoted Raki up into 6th place. And then Vidic will move up into 7th. It might be quite close with Djphil-green. I think Killer Clark might just come out ahead of Djphil-green. As we see Djphil-green coming into the pits, and he's had a moment there as he came into the pits. He's done 12 laps on those mediums. Maybe he could have been due a pit stop. I don't know whether that was an intended pit stop or whether he just ended up in the pits. But Killer Clark there comes out just behind them Vidic, and then Vidic up into 7th place. Djphil-green there trundling through the pit lane into his box. RaKiMaJe still running just ahead of Rednass right now. Those two kind of keep in the same gap to each other. Djphil-green there coming towards the end of the pits, having done that pit stop. Joram now within a second of Horatio and looking like he wants to get himself into that clean air as soon as he can. We're expecting A. Thompson will need to come into the pits again before the end of this race. Joram, as it stands though, as if he can get these hard tyres to the end of the race, then Joram will be able to close the gap to Game for Life in the championship. Never say never. Game for Life could get the best out of those medium tyres and push it all the way to the end and get ahead of him. But as it stands right now, Joram looking like he will be able to close that gap at the top of the standings. Sergey Zeynalov has a nightmare race tonight down in P9, so he won't be able to close the gap anymore to those guys. Penguin Dude obviously missing tonight, won't be able to gain any points. Hasbaz likewise not here, so he will fail to pick up any points towards his championship. But obviously round 9 of the season, championship table starting to kind of take shape at this point. Sergey's had a good first few rounds to his season, but this is not the way that he would have wanted it to go at all here at Hungary, as Joam now really close to the back of Horatio. Look at this, barely anything between those two at the moment, as he's looking to try and make a move here. Has a little feint to the inside, Horatio having none of that, and for the time being Joam can't get it done here in this battle for 2nd place in this race. A. Thompson's still out there on those medium tyres. He has gone an age on those tyres. How is he still going on those? I do not know. He's done really well. As we see Joram now in the slipstream of Horatio, he's going to look to try and make the move to the inside, coming up towards turn 1. Is he going to be able to do it on the brakes? Here we go, side by side into the braking zone, and Joram is up into P2. Beautifully done there from the Red Bull driver, gaining a position and can now try and just cement that P2 here in this race. Rednass is close back up onto RaKiMaJe here. These two gaining a little bit on Djphil-green now as well, but looks like RaKiMaJe's got his mirrors full, and that may prevent him from being able to chase down Djphil-green, who's currently in that final points paying position. Rednass very close on the back of our man, who's this week in a Mercedes. Oh no, it's Rednass lost it. Oh gosh, no, Rednass has got it. They've completely binned it there, and that's going to have given RaKiMaJe a bit of respite there. It's promoted Bennett up into 12th. Rednass dropping positions. He's down to P14 in this race. As no, he's not. not quite, no. Karts is still a long way behind him there in 14th place, but Rednas there losing out quite a bit. Clarky Boy's got 2.8 back to Bennett LCFC, and he's still trying to close in on Jaffa Cake at the moment, who's currently sat in 10th. But A. Thompson though has got 10 laps left to go here at the Hungaroring for round 9 of Motive Racing's Formula 1 League on a Friday night. 12 of you watching on the stream at the moment. Guys, if you like what you see, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and join us at www.motiveracing.com if you want to be part of the action. Got leagues on F1 2021 as well as the Seto Corsa Competizione and Project Cars 2. Got Project Cars 2 touring cars coming up after this as well. But Matty Pitts got up ahead of Horatio up into 4th, and I don't know if Horatio's always in the pits, that's why. But right now A. Thompson has the lead. 18 seconds is his gap out the front to Joram. He's put some fresh soft tyres on, so he'll be able to get the absolute max out of those, and I won't be surprised at all if he completely extends that gap in these final few laps of the race. Joram, to be fair, has done a good job. It's been a decent comeback from him since he had a horror show of a pit stop on his first pit stop. It hasn't really been the race for him either. Made a couple of mistakes over the course of this one, but he is fighting back. He's got 8 seconds back to his championship rival Game for Life, who's sat in 3rd place right now. Game for Life is closing the gap to Joram at the moment, but is it going to be too little too late, or is he going to be able to mount a challenge in these final few laps of the race? That is the big question here. As we can see, he's just putting a lap there on Sergey. No, not Sergey, it isn't Sergey, it is... oh, it's Rednas, so wrong car. Andy, what is wrong with you today? Jesus. But A. Thompson out the front, 18 seconds is gap over Joram at the moment. Joram continuing to pump in the laps at the moment. Gap between Joram and Game for Life came down by half a second on that last lap, so Game for Life still getting the pace down, as you would expect, being that he's on the faster medium tyre, but also the fact that it's fresh rubber as well, so you'd expect him to be quicker, but I think the gap's too much. I think Joram's got P2 in the bag at this stage in the race. Bennett in the pits to change some tyres. Not been the race for Bennett, the man who is so used to seeing winning in the XLF1 League on a Wednesday and Sunday night. Hasn't had the rubber to green tonight here at Motive on a Friday night, as we can see. Killer Clock's got ahead of Nemvich up into 7th place. Quick plug actually while we're here on the stream, if you guys are interested in an F1 community who are a little bit more centred towards F1 than we are, then make sure you go to the top of our Discord server, or you can go to our stream links for Formula 1 game on a Wednesday and Sunday night on the Motive YouTube channel. If you click on any of that, you'll be able to click at the description, you'll find links to the XL Racing League Discord server, or if you go to our Discord server and go sort of near the top of our server, you've got a little channel called Partners. If you click on that, click the link there, that will take you to XL Racing League. That is their game. That's what their community is based around. Whereas we sort of run many different leagues throughout the week on ACC, on Project Cars 2 as well as F1. They are solely focused on F1 2021, and they do a great job. They run Wednesday. They run a league which runs on Wednesdays and Sundays. So they run 2 days a week for their leagues. They've got 3 tiers, so they've got a lot of drivers in there. I myself commentate on their tier 1, and I stream it to this channel, to the Motive channel, as we've got a little collaboration going on there. But yeah, if anybody's interested in that, lots of these drivers came from there, and they are currently repping out on track at the moment. As we see, Horatio's got ahead of Matty Pitt up into 4th place there. Horatio, one of the drivers who I found in the XL F1 League, and he races the Red Bull over there, races in the Alpine here at Motive. As we see, A. Thompson there's just done the fastest lap of the race out the front, and pulling out that gap to Joram, as you'd expect, seeing that he is on fresh soft tyres. What a performance from A. Thompson. Crashed out last week at Silverstone in his 2nd appearance on the channel. His first appearance was a victory at the Red Bull Ring in the Austrian Grand Prix here at Motive, so he's got past form of winning. Last week didn't go to plan, but he's bounced back absolutely brilliantly this time around, and looks set to take maximum points in every single shape, in every single way, obviously, because he'll get the extra point for fastest lap as well. But the lap's winding down here at Hungary, and looks like Matty Pitt's dropping off the back of Horatio since Horatio got that move on him. The race just starting to settle down a little bit, not really a whole lot going on. RaKiMaJe was closing in on Djphil-green, but I think maybe his hard tyres are starting to go off a little bit now. He's not going to be able to extract the best performance out of the car with tyres that have been on the car for that long, as he's got Joram just about to put a lap on him there. But at the moment, still a decent first couple of races for RaKiMaJe. Obviously last time out at Silverstone he had some very strong pace, but then got a bit unlucky towards the end of the race with the safety cars. Obviously he was running on the hards and trying to play the strategic game, but nonetheless, you know, he's shown that he has got plenty of skill on the Formula 1 game. As we see Vidic into the box, he's just changing a set of tyres, putting those softs on by the looks of it. Yep, put those softs on. And he's off and on his way once again. Redknapp has picked up a penalty. Another penalty. Oh no, this man just can't seem to get enough of the penalties tonight, can he? He's got Bennett within 0.3 of a second of him at the moment. Horatio is still pulling out the gap ahead of Matty Pitt. 2 seconds between those two, as we just see RaKiMaJe giving Joram a good little battle here. But Joram 22 seconds behind A. Thompson, the race leader, on those worn hard tyres. It's going to be all about getting those to the finish now for Joram. He just needs to manage this out and make sure he can stay the distance. He put those tyres on lap 11, so it'd be no mean feat him getting them to the end of the race. Not easy to go 25 laps on one set of tyres, especially when you consider that we haven't had any safety cars in this race. That's been at racing speeds the whole time, so he's done a really good job here as Joram in this one, as is RaKiMaJe, to be fair. I'm just noticing there on the timing screen he's had those on since lap 9, so he's going to have to do 28 laps altogether by the time we get to the end of this race. That's pretty solid stuff there. As we see, Vidic has been overtaken by Djphil-green, so Djphil-green is into 9th, and RaKiMaJe could be on for a top 10 spot. He was only 5 seconds behind Vidic. Has he got the well, I don't know, it's difficult because obviously Vidic has got fresh softs on compared to RaKiMaJe on worn hards, and as you see, Vidic is trying to come back at Djphil-green actually here down the outside, coming up towards turn 1, and looks like he's actually breezed past him up into 9th. As Bennett LCFC's retired from the race, shame for him there. Is DNF'd after 29 laps of this race, will score no points. He was only 3 laps from scoring some points here, but he's throwing those out of the window there, unfortunately for him. Any driver who gets to the end of lap 31 here will score full points for their troubles. Well, I say, well, actually no, only if you're in the top 10, so you still get classified though. As long as you complete 31 laps of the race, you're still classified. But Bennett's clearly had enough by the looks of it, as we see Djphil-green there. Oh, Djphil-green's had a spin. Where's RaKiMaJe? Is RaKiMaJe coming through? He is. RaKiMaJe moves up into the top 10. He's got his reward there. He's just kept pushing in this race, has never given up. Djphil-green, oh, he's lost it again. Oh no, Djphil-green's binned it. His front wing end plate comes off there. You see the left side of that car, the front part of that front wing has absolutely gone flying, and he's now going to drop back. He's going to have to, well, I don't know, he might get away with not pitting with that one. It's not, yeah, nah, he's not, nah, who am I kidding? He's going to have to come in and get that sorted out, otherwise he will face an even heftier penalty, even heftier repercussions than he's already currently got. But A. Thompson out in front, leading this race by 23 seconds over Joram. Joram continues to pump in the laps. He's got 23 seconds back to Horatio. Game for life. Running in P7 in this race, surely is going to push for a fastest lap on those fresh soft tyres. He's 5 seconds behind Killer Clark at this point, and could be on for a P6 if he's able to extract the pace out of those soft tyres and get himself onto the back of Killer Clark and ahead of him in the last few laps. So Game for Life really, realistically now can probably target a 6th place here in this race. I think that's going to be the summit of his ambitions here in this one. I can't see him getting higher up than that at this point now, as we're in the later stages of this race. We're obviously on lap 31. Game for Life's about to start lap 31 of the race, so yeah, I can't really see that changing now, as we can see there Killer Clark just about to pull up onto the back of RaKi here. He's trying to get the cutback here out of turn 1. They're going to be side by side down towards turn 2. Killer Clark's just ahead, and RaKi doesn't fight that too hard. RaKi very clean driving there from RaKi, one of our regulars last season in the Porsche Super Cup, and word on the street has it, RaKi is planning a sensational return to the Porsche Super Cup this coming Monday, so we're looking forward to that. let's keep our eyes on him and see how he can get on in that one. Always great to see Raki out on the track. He's been racing in this F1 league since the beginning of this season, and obviously we're delighted to hear that he is making his return to ACC for the well, we're still in the early stage of the season really. Next week is round 4, obviously 12 round season here at Motive, so yeah, definitely it's going to be interesting to see Raki back out on the track in the Porsches for sure. But Game for Life is now pulling up onto the back of him, and Raki could be about to lose 2 positions in the space of a lap. Killer Clark's already pulled out a bit of a gap to him, and Killer Clark knows that Game for Life's going to be coming for him here, so he wants to pull out a gap while he can, while he's got the chance, with Raki currently still just ahead of Game for Life, as Game for Life now gets the DRS coming down the start finish straight. It's going to be easy peasy there. Tyres, and Game for Life makes that look rather routine into turn 1, up into 6th place. 2 seconds up the road is Killer Clark, 3 laps left to go. Has Game for Life got the pace to closing on Killer Clark over the course of these final 3 laps? These questions and more will be answered as time goes on. But Raki now down in P7 still will take 6 points for his troubles tonight. It's been a good drive for Raki. His son and teammate Joram currently sat in 2nd spot and looking to bring home some very good points, and he will actually gain on the championship leader Game for Life after this round. He will cut the gap down by quite a bit. He'll gain 10 points on him in the championship, with Joram picking up 18 points for 2nd, and Game for Life will get 8 points for 6th. So yeah, it's that one's going to be interesting to see. But A. Thompson currently leads the race by 25 seconds and has this one in the bag. He's got just over 2 laps left to go. He's just coming up onto some traffic at the moment, which looks like it's an Alpha Tauri. So I think that might be carts there. No, it's not carts. In fact, it's actually Jaffa Cake. So Jaffa Cake there, just up ahead of A. Thompson at the moment. He's also got I think, I don't know. But Killer Clark has been passed by Game for Life already. Look at that, Game for Life has done that so quickly there. He's already up into 5th place ahead of Killer Clark. I did not see that coming, to be honest with you. He's just reeled him in so fast there. So now Game for Life up into 5th place here in this race. Killer Clark down to P6 at the moment, as A. Thompson has got just under 2 laps left to go here in this race. And look at that, I was just wondering, because in my head I almost pictured A. Thompson being halfway around the lap, and I was thinking, why is he coming around turn 1? It's because he's just been into the pits. So he obviously feels he's got enough of a gap behind him to come in to the pits, come out in the lead. He's put some soft tyres on, and he's going for the double here. He's going for race win and fastest lap. Obviously missed out on pole position due to Game for Life taking that one, but A. Thompson here looking to rub salt in the wounds and take that extra point and make sure that Game for Life doesn't nick that off of him at the end of this race. He won't do the fastest lap on this lap, but A. Thompson is going to be pushing it all the way to the flag, trying to do the fastest lap on the final lap of the race. And this, I don't know, Joram could be looking at this as an opportunity here, because A. Thompson putting on those soft tyres and he's going to go for the fastest lap. This could potentially be a bit of a lifter for Joram, because he'll know that A. Thompson's going to be pushing that thing absolutely to its limits on this last lap, and if he makes one small little mistake, Joram, only 7 seconds behind, will be ready to pounce if that happens. So anything can happen on this final lap here. A. Thompson, we know, is going to be going for that fastest lap, and the question is, can he keep it on the grey stuff, keep it where he needs to be in order to get that fastest lap? He's obviously got the win on a plate, but if he makes a mistake, loses his front wing or something, then we know that Joram's going to be Johnny on the spot for sure. But these questions will be answered in the next 45-ish seconds of this race, obviously on the final lap. So A. Thompson coming into the final few corners, just coming up on some traffic there, which looks like it's an Aston Martin. Sorry, he is the Aston Martin. I do apologise. But A. Thompson coming in towards the final few corners here. Took the win a couple of rounds ago at the Red Bull Ring in Austria on his debut here at Motive Racing. Last week didn't really go to plan at Silverstone. Ended up crashing out. Or didn't crash out. I think he retired from the race due to some issues. But he's kept on going this time around. He's capitalised on the errors from Game for Life and Joram. And he's going to take the checker flag here at Hungary. It's going to be the victory for A. Thompson. And he takes the fastest lap on the final lap there. What a great drive from our man in the Aston Martin. A. Thompson absolutely smashing it here on the Motive Racing channel tonight. Well done to you, A. Thompson there. Joram comes over to take second place here in this race, and he's going to close the gap to Game for Life at the top of the standings. Game for Life managed to pick up P5 there in the closing laps, so he'll take 10 points for this one. Joram takes 18 and will gain 8 points on him in the championship standings. Horatio coming in towards the final couple of corners. Let's see what Horatio can do here as he's just coming through the final part of the lap. Here he comes out at the final corner, and Horatio is going to pick up a well-deserved podium here in Hungary. Good drive there from Horatio. Sergey Zeynalov, Clarky Boy have all finished the race. Clarky Boy picking up the final point there. Big ups to Ryan for that one, my manager in my actual workplace there, doing a great job tonight. As we've got Matty Pitts finished Game for Life in 5th. Keeler Clark there finishes the race in 6th, and it will be a bit disappointed to have lost position to Game for Life at the end, but nevertheless a good performance. RaKiMaJe, Joam's teammate, picks up some good points for the Red Bull team in their constructors' hopes. Sergey did take 8th in the end, and he'll be disappointed, but 4 points is better than no points. He kept pushing and he gets the reward, albeit minimally. Nemvilic 9th, Clarky Boy 10th, Jaffa classified in 11th spot. Rednass is coming over the line now to take 12th in the race, and Karts will be the last to finish. Out the final corner he comes to finish in P13. But A. Thompson, the winner here tonight at Hungary for round 9 of the Formula 1 Championship at Motive Racing. Fantastic job tonight from A. Thompson. Absolutely pushed it to the limits tonight and did a really impressive job. Hats off to him. Well done to all the drivers who turned out tonight. Well done to Joram on finishing on the podium in 2nd place, and big congratulations to Horatio for being Mr. Consistent in this Motive F1 League. That accolade previously went to Philby in the Excel F1 League, but I haven't seen him racing for a couple of weeks, and the last couple of times I saw him it's not been great. So Horatio is now the man who I'm going to give my Mr. Consistent tag to. Always there, always ready to pick up big points and podiums, so hats off to him. But that is that then, ladies and gentlemen, for this week here in the Formula 1 League. Drop a like on the video if you enjoyed the action tonight. Subscribe to the Motive Racing channel if you want to see more. In fact, no, hold on. I'm going to take a very short break because I think there's a couple of drivers who want an interview, so do bear with us, guys. Yeah, do bear with us if you want to listen to the interviews. I think Game for Life's going to come in for an interview in a moment, so just bear with us. We're going to take a very, very short break, and we'll be back in a second. swoops round into the lead of the Russian Grand Prix here at Motive Racing. Dan can fight it no more. He put up a valiant effort. Alright mate, I'm going to jump straight into it. Alright guys, welcome back. We're here with Game for Life, the man who could have won this race tonight, but unfortunately it went a little bit wrong. We saw the incident there, losing the front wing. How does that feel? You had the pace tonight with the pole position, but so gutting there. In the end managed to fight your way back to 5th place. Just tell us what happened. First corner, that's the worst place to lose it, isn't it? You've got to drive the whole lap without the front wing, so it loses you the maximum amount of time, really, doesn't it? It's not really the ideal situation. Well, no, I was saying when you lose it in the first corner, the front wing in the first corner, that's the worst possible scenario, isn't it? Because you have to drive the most amount of the lap with a damaged car, so in a way that's the worst possible thing to happen, isn't it, really? Oh yeah, the second from the last corner, yeah. Yeah, because we caught the tail end of that. We caught it just as it happened, and we kind of like saw you limping in, and from there you came out. You came out in 6th at the time, I think it was, and then you came out in 7th place. Yeah, and you managed to get past a couple of the guys who were up ahead of you. Obviously, you came out. I think it was behind Killer Clark, wasn't it, and RaKi. You managed to get ahead of both of them. Joam's teammate, very clean with you from what we saw, which was nice to see. But Joam obviously finishing in P2 tonight. Is that going to be something that plays on your mind going into next race, knowing that Joam's gained points on you in this one? I know exactly what you mean. He's not pushing it too hard, but he's still making mistakes, so it could go either way at this point. I reckon it's going to be a case of who makes the fewest mistakes, but both of you made mistakes tonight, and unfortunately for you, you just came off worse in the situation. But unlucky there, mate. Great job on the pole position, and hopefully next race you'll bounce back stronger. We've also got A. Thompson in the box with us as well, winner in his debut at the Red Bull Ring in Austria. What a drive from yourself tonight. I mean, obviously the other two didn't have the cleanest of races, but you just kept going. You kept getting the pace down. You made very little mistakes. I didn't see you make a single mistake over the course of the race. I don't know whether you could tell us different, but it seemed like a flawless drive.
There was a few moments where I had a few slaps of oversteer, you know, but it was kind of keeping that under control and not pushing it too hard. You know what I mean? Make the tyres go the length I needed them to go, and just go for the one stop. But I eventually, you know, ended up doing the stop in the end.
Well, yeah, we noticed that because I saw that you were going very long on the mediums, and by the time it got to about, I don't know, lap 17, 18 and started to clock, I was thinking he's not gonna try and put the hards on now. He wouldn't have gone this long on the tyres to put the hards on. So I thought to myself, he's obviously going to try and stretch these mediums as long as he can, and then put the softs on but he's going to try and leave it as long as he can so he can actually put the softs on. But then what I assumed was a late pit stop to get the extra point with the gap that you had. I wasn't sure. Was that what the aim was at the end?
Yeah, that was the play there. Just to get that extra little advantage on Game for Life. need that every point matters. So
100%. Absolutely. Obviously, you joined the championship in round 7, so you're only going to compete in about 70% of the actual season itself. With that in mind, does the championship even come into the equation for you, or are you just here to have a good time?
Well, I'd like to at the same time I'd like to compete, but that's for fun. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Hard feelings between anyone, if any. Do you know what I mean? We're all going to race fair, and we're all going to enjoy it. So if I win it at the end of the day, that's just an extra bonus.
Brilliant stuff. Well, great job tonight, mate. Really, really good drive, and your second win. Only 3 races at Motive, so congratulations. Hats off to yourself, and well done to Game for Life on the comeback there. But thank you everybody for watching live on the YouTube stream here for the F1 League here at Motive. We're going to go over to Project Cars 2 now for the touring cars. But thank you to A. Thompson, the race winner, and to Game for Life for jumping in the box. Also, big congrats. Cheers, mate. Thank you very much, and also to the podium finishers as well. But we're going to wrap this up, guys. So have a great evening, and hopefully you join us on Project Cars 2. But if you don't, we'll see you for the next F1 action, which will be on Sunday for Excel. So until then, see you later.